June 7, 2021, the quiet streets of Hampton County, South Carolina, were shattered when a gunshot echoed from the home of Alex Murdaugh's wife, Maggie, and their teenage son, Paul. The bodies that were later discovered, Maggie in a state-of-the-art kitchen, Paul slumped in the hallway, sent shockwaves through a community that had long revered the Murdaugh name, a legal dynasty that had dominated the Lowcountry for generations. Born into a family that traced its influence back to the 1920s, Alex Murdaugh was the latest heir to a line of attorneys who served as solicitors, district attorneys, and judges for the 4 counties that make up the Lowcountry. The Murdaughs owned the largest law firm in the region, represented powerful businesses, and were woven into the fabric of local politics and law enforcement. For decades, the name conjured images of courtroom triumphs, charitable foundations, and an unassailable legacy. Yet beneath that polished veneer lay a web of financial misdeeds, personal betrayals, and a desperate bid to preserve a crumbling empire. The tragedy that unfolded in June was only the beginning of a cascade of revelations. In the weeks following the murders, investigators uncovered a separate, sprawling financial scandal. Alex Murdaugh had allegedly siphoned millions from his own firm and from the settlement funds of a 2019 civil lawsuit involving a former client. The scheme, dubbed the $7.6 million theft, involved fraudulent invoices, forged signatures, and shell companies designed to funnel money into personal accounts. As the forensic accountants dug deeper, they found that the attorney's debts had ballooned to over $10 million, a figure that threatened to dismantle the firm that had once seemed untouchable. Public outrage grew when, in September 2021, a mysterious bounty video appeared online, allegedly offering a reward for information leading to Murdaugh's capture. The video, posted on a platform linked to a former client's son, hinted that the murders might be connected to the financial fraud, suggesting a possible motive rooted in desperation and fear of exposure. The narrative shifted from a simple homicide to a tangled saga of greed, power, and betrayal. The trial, which commenced in early 2023, unfolded under a media frenzy that turned the courtroom into a national stage. The prosecution, led by South Carolina's solicitor for the Ninth Circuit, painted Murdaugh as a man who, cornered by mounting debts and a crumbling reputation, resorted to murder to silence those closest to him. They argued that the killings were a calculated act to divert attention from the financial crimes and to secure a life insurance payout that would cushion his dwindling empire. The defense, in stark contrast, claimed that Alex was the victim of a conspiracy orchestrated by disgruntled former clients, rival attorneys, and even law enforcement officials who resented his power. Key evidence presented by the prosecution included a series of text messages between Murdaugh and his former personal assistant, in which he expressed frustration about the mess and hinted that the only way out is through. A forensic analysis of the crime scene revealed that the .45 caliber pistol used in the murders was registered to a relative of Murdaugh's, and ballistics matched the weapon to the fatal shots. Moreover, cell phone pings placed Murdaugh at the family home moments before the gunfire, contradicting his claim that he was elsewhere on the night of the killings. The defense attempted to undermine these points by introducing an alibi witness, a longtime friend who testified that he saw Murdaugh at a local bar at 9 p.m., a time that would have made it impossible for him to commit the murders. However, surveillance footage from the bar's parking lot later surfaced, showing Murdaugh's vehicle leaving the premises minutes after the alleged sighting, eroding the credibility of his alibi. Throughout the trial, the courtroom was punctuated by emotionally charged testimonies. Maggie's sister, a grieving aunt, described the night she received the phone call that shattered her world, while Paul's best friend recounted the carefree teenager who had never imagined his future could be cut short. These human moments juxtaposed starkly with the cold, calculated financial documents laid out on the prosecutor's table, underscoring the duality of a man who could simultaneously manage multimillion-dollar accounts and orchestrate a family homicide. After a week of deliberation, the jury returned with a verdict that reverberated beyond the courthouse walls. Alex Murdaugh was found guilty on all counts of first-degree murder, attempted murder, and the associated financial crimes. The sentencing phase, conducted later that year, resulted in 2 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole, alongside an order to forfeit any assets tied to the fraudulent schemes. The aftermath of the verdict sent ripples through the legal community and the broader public. The Murdaugh law firm, once a pillar of the Lowcountry, dissolved, leaving dozens of employees unemployed and clients scrambling for representation. The case prompted a statewide review of ethical standards for attorneys, leading the South Carolina bar to implement stricter oversight mechanisms and mandatory financial disclosures for law firms handling settlement funds. Families of previous victims filed civil suits seeking restitution for the alleged misappropriation of settlement money, further complicating the already tangled financial fallout. On a personal level, the Murdaugh saga left an indelible scar on the community that had once celebrated the family's contributions. Local schools renamed scholarships that had borne the Murdaugh name, while monuments and plaques honoring the dynasty were quietly removed. Subscribe to The Verdict for more stories like this.